very good evening to our distinguished guests, Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, our guest of honor, Excellency Christopher Luxon, Prime Minister of New Zealand, Honorable External Affairs Minister, Shri Jaishankar, our partners from the Ministry of External Affairs and all the other ministers, admirals, generals, speakers and delegates, and the audience which is gathered here, distinguished members, many of whom are also joining online. Welcome to Raisena 2025. When conflicts challenge order, when we struggle to make sense of the road ahead, we seek anchor in metaphors and in symbols. I remember, last year, when conflicts were raging in Europe and West Asia, we had assembled Raisena under the banner of Chaturang, that ancient board game of war and craft. This year, as conflicts nudge themselves towards a peace which sometimes seems more conflicted than the wars itself, the theme chosen is Kalachakra, the wheel of time. First of all, the metaphor of the wheel actually challenges the linear notion of the arrow of time as something which is constantly moving forward inexorably towards progress and growth. The chakra, gives no such false assurances. The unending progress of any civilization, of any nation or race, or manifest destiny of anyone is not guaranteed by any cosmic order. We repeat mistakes, our best intents lead to consequences we never intended, and order frequently does descend into chaos. The chakra actually signifies a motion which is far more complex than the circular monotony of a wheel. It is about cycles of decay and cycles of renewal. It is about the dance of the planets, which is set in motion by a balance of mutually opposite forces. There's a centrifugal force that left to itself can cause the dance of the stars to unravel. They can just be flung out of course. And opposing it is a centripetal force always recentering things, pulling things towards the center. Should that centripetal force run riot, the system starts imploding, collapsing upon itself into a black hole which sucks up everything, mass, energy, to end in a dead world from which even light cannot escape. At one extreme of the spinning vortex of time is a fragmenting order, which is called the mandal, the fragmenting pattern, tearing apart the cohesion of societies, disrupting the environmental balance, hyper-individualism, ecological collapse, dissipating into a world of entropic decay. At the other end lies a collapse mandal, the collapse pattern, overly rigid, homogenized, a world of authoritarianism and ecological monocultures, where over-integration stifles innovation, and instead of change and evolution, even time freezes unmoving. So central to this whole idea of Kalachakra, which is a theme of this conference, is the idea of impermanence. No state, thankfully, lasts forever, for each contains the seed of its opposite. That makes it not just a non-linear system, it also makes it a non-binary system. A non-binary system cannot be understood in very mechanistic, dualistic terms. It cannot be understood in terms of black and white. There's too much color in it. Because to do that is to lose nuance, to be unable to understand the nature of complexity and be defeated by complexity. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which our Prime Minister keeps on urging, is that ideal in the cosmic order, one that is offered as an all-encompassing guide for a world that is impermanent, interdependent, and infinitely interconnected. In truth, everything around us, is this dance of Kal, time, and Mandal, which is order. And that fundamentally challenges humans. Remember, in Buddhism, ultimately, this calibration between the two is not defined as a goal. It is defined as a practice. It is something which must be kept on constantly. It is not an endpoint. And to do that, it challenges conscious humans, thinking humans, to engage through thought and through action to practice bringing that order back together again, that balance back together again. So we meet to celebrate a decade of Raisena in 2025, to examine precisely that world of thought and action, which helps us recognize that every movement, whether tightening into unity or fraying into disorder, also contains the seed of its opposite. In the final analysis, in the Kalachakra, neither order nor chaos are endpoints. They're merely transitory phases which demand recalibration. And recalibration is a time for sometimes difficult and unconventional decisions. So at ORF, we extend our welcome and best wishes to everyone here for 3 days of the most thought-provoking conversation.